Steady up, fellas. I got orders coming.
Welcome to a 1v1 on La Gleize Breakout. This game is going to be between Aymes and Neo Andy 07. We've got Aymes playing as US Forces in the South Base, and Neo Andy playing as Overcommando West in the North Base. And Neo Andy actually has access to Scavenge Doctrine, Fortifications Doctrine, and Special Operations Doctrine, so pretty unconventional commander loadout here. But I think it's actually a pretty good one for this map, since the infrared STGs will give him better close range firepower here on this urban map. And Scavenge Doctrine he could certainly make good use of thanks to the huge amount of buildings. Infiltration tactics is of course always very useful, and fortifications I don't think I've ever seen used on this map. I think it could be good, but of course it comes down to how exactly he uses the features. So we'll see what he decides to do. Aymes, on the other hand, has gone with Rifle Company, which is very, very common choice on this map. The flamethrowers give the riflemen a huge boost fighting against units and buildings, and of course all of the other features are very useful pretty much regardless of the map you're on. We have Aymes making his way over towards the left side. He's actually, look at that, went ambulance first and is using the medics to cap, which I recommend against personally. I've done it before myself, but it leaves you a little bit weak in the early engagements. I tend to prefer to save my ambulance for later. It also makes it, should you want to tech for grenades, it slows down your grenade tech a little bit, and you're unlikely to be able to utilize the ambulance in forward engagements. In fact, he clearly has no intention of even using it at all in engagements. He's just using it to cap. So when you get right down to it, if you're just going to be using a unit to cap, you may as well just make some rear echelon troops or something. But we'll see if that early ambulance purchase pays off. If the ambulance had better speed, it might actually make for a good early capping squad, but unfortunately the ambulance actually goes almost at the same speed as infantry. Yeah, I think it's a little tiny bit faster than infantry, but sadly it is not a very fast vehicle. An engagement happening here in the center between riflemen and these two squads, and Andy taking advantage of buildings as much as possible, forcing those riflemen to disengage, move away to capture some more territory. Over here on the right side, we do have rear echelon troops continuing to move up and harass the strategic point. Up here.
Sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured. Area is ours. Area's ours. Gather round.
Riflemen also moving through, grabbing the victory point soon. Now actually going to prioritize the strategic point over the victory point, and the ambulance is actually driving to catch up to these wounded riflemen and reinforce them. So good use of the early ambulance, trying to get as much mileage out of it as he can, since he's obviously not going to be able to win many engagements with only 2 riflemen versus his opponent's 4 Volksgrenadiers and 1 Stern Pio squad. And he's actually floating quite a bit of manpower right now. He's got 600, and I think that he's waiting for the cooldown to run out here on his elite riflemen. I think he could definitely stand to get a few extra rear echelon troops if he absolutely refuses to get standard riflemen and wants only veteran riflemen. Rear echelons, fighting positions, and caches could help keep his manpower a little bit lower.
What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Our riflemen will now be better trained before deployment. Rifle squad ready for action.
But he is going to continue bringing those veteran riflemen in. We do have Andy taking up a position in this building. It's quite a strong building, actually. And I think that those Volksgrenadiers will eventually win this engagement against his riflemen. Of course, it's going to take quite a bit of time, and we do have a cutoff maneuver happening here by Andy on the strategic points outside of the American base. There are new riflemen being called in, but again, he's kind of struggling to keep up with his opponent. For squads, his opponent now has, well, he's about to have a 6th squad, and still he only has 3 combat-capable squads. His rear echelons are positioned inside of this building. Riflemen taking back the strategic point. They won't be able to beat those Stern Pioneers in green cover, especially not charging over red cover. Yeah, that engagement's already lost before it's even begun. These riflemen continue to do battle with the Volksgrenadiers. They've inflicted no losses yet. However, the right side fuel has been successfully taken. The the medics have also captured the victory point.
Veteran know-how will help us to better prepare our infantry. A capture point is under attack. Kraut infantry!
Get ready!
The enemy is overrunning.
And these Stern Pioneers are doing good work over here on the fuel point, making good use of cover to make sure that any counter-harassment attempt by lone squads fails. Stern Pioneers can effectively counter-harass any lone American squad as long as they have full health and are in green cover, but he's actually, rather than staying at range, he's going to charge those rear echelon troops. I think that wasn't necessary considering he had the advantage there, and he just sort of lost a model unnecessarily, getting whittled down. Now this is a pretty earnest push for the left side going out by the Americans, going to definitely be able to force those Stern Pioneers away. Now they've sustained a loss, but these Volksgrenadiers have forced back everything on the right side. They're going to eject themselves from that building and take some territory over here, taking up a defensive position in the church immediately thereafter. Riflemen moving up to fire on those Stern Pioneers. Stern Pioneers moving back into cover. The riflemen are going to struggle here if they find themselves in the arc of that MG, and he's not repositioning it though. Those riflemen are so tightly packed. Here it comes. They are in green cover. Except for them, they're gonna get caught out in the open. He sees the MG now, opening fire. Oh no! The AoE suppression suppresses 2 squads, this one taking heavy damage. All 3 squads suppressed. Stern Pioneers, we should be able to reposition to safety, and the fuel looks like it's going to remain in Over Commando West hands. Another machine gun is moving up here. Oh, but it's a little bit out of position. And those riflemen are going to pull off a successful flank. The Stern Pioneers are trying to retreat, but that flanking rifle squad could very well catch them on retreat. Oh, but he didn't turn to fire at them, or chase them, unfortunately. If he had chased, I think he could have gotten a squad wipe. Maybe. I think that model has about half health. I'm not sure. Ooh, nice flank by this captain, too. The Thompson doing nice damage. He gets suppressed before he can bring the machine gun down fully. These 2 riflemen doing what they can. There they go. Manages to snipe the last remaining model. It looks like these ooh, nice mine right there. These riflemen have spread out to attempt to flank on this machine gun now. This machine gun's been recovered by Stern Pioneers. The captain is pinned. Meanwhile, some rear echelon troops with the BARs here on the munitions point are taking heavy damage. Oh no, don't lose that BAR, no! Retreat! I'm not sure if he noticed in time. Fortunately, this little shack thing will actually allow him to be outside of his opponent's line of sight, and he just barely makes it away by a hair. Meanwhile, the engagement is continuing here. That machine gun is set up in on open ground, and the riflemen in green cover are able to force it away, so the engagement actually did go in favor of the United States forces, although he took some pretty heavy losses, and it also took a long time, and during all of that he did not have control of his fuel, and he's losing that control on the right side as well. So things are not going very well for the U.S. Forces player, despite doing reasonably well in that engagement. He really needs to improve his map control situation, or he's not going to be able to keep up with his opponent. Neo-Andy has 115 fuel now. He's had Mechanized Regiment headquarters for a while, not making use of either of the transfer abilities, which is probably wise. He doesn't want to slow down. He doesn't want to make his income any less efficient, considering his map control situation is actually quite good. He's already got 1 Panzerschreck, so that's 90 munitions spent there. He could get a second. I'm almost surprised to not see a second one yet. I assume he's going to be getting one soon. He has chosen Fortifications Doctrine, and he already has access to the field defenses. So we might be seeing some bunkers or S-mines. Grenade going out. Ooh. Almost catches those rear echelon troops, but he did a nice little dodging maneuver. Pretty big blob here in the center too. Those Stern Pioneers are going to be quite dangerous for these infantry to take on. pack howitzer is also firing on the middle. He's taking massive damage though, needs to retreat. Fortunately, he makes it away just by a hair. Captain also has to retreat. These two machine guns are set up in pretty dangerously close proximity though, a high explosive barrage. Ooh! Could be bad for them. Massive damage inflicted on that Volksgrenadier squad. So the Stern Pioneers are attempting to flank that pack howitzer, but they just got caught by that BAR Rifleman squad, and a full squad of Stern Pioneers goes down. These rear echelon BAR troops just wiped 3 out of 4 models on that Volksgrenadier squad, which I'm not sure if he's watching. I think they're going to go down too if he doesn't retreat. Oh. He just retreated those rear echelon troops when he definitely should have stayed and tried to wipe that squad. I guess he didn't want to lose his rear echelons to that flanking Stern Pioneer squad, but he definitely had an opportunity to go for another squad wipe right there. Unfortunately, they didn't capitalize on that. Pack howitzer firing on this building. That machine gun's not going to be able to do much in there for long. Pack howitzer firing on it. Pack howitzer is actually quite good against buildings, and well, I honestly haven't seen the pack howitzer fire on a building much this patch. But it looks like it's doing its job. Riflemen in green cover continue to be pretty effective as well, in medium range with BAR upgrades. S-mines being planted over here by those Volksgrenadiers, nice decision. If we take a look, honestly, I don't even know how to check how much that costs. I guess you can't. Yeah, I don't know how much that costs to do. Probably like 60, something like that. That would be my guess. Rifleman getting suppressed here in the middle, and a Lux is on its way to push him back. He could utilize on me to break the suppression. Yeah, but he's not doing that, and the Lux is going to drive right up on him and inflict massive casualties. The captain is taking up a position in the building. But he's already, wow, ouch. Already down to 1 model by the time he makes it inside, and the Lux wipes the full squad. That pack howitzer is now going to be extremely vulnerable. In fact, the American player has no anti-tank at all now that the captain just died. So that was a pretty potent Lux rush by Andy. There goes the pack howitzer. The American player is really struggling at this point.
A gun crew.
Continues to not really have map control at all.
Stand ready. Area secure.
Although that machine gun got caught way out of position, and it should definitely not be getting in that building. It needs to escape right now. Triple vet rifleman with a BAR and green cover are going to tear it to shreds. I'm not even sure he notices this happening right now. There it goes. Not sure why he just, I don't know what that grenade was. That was an interesting decision. I don't know why he did that. That was strange.
Enemy tank is cutting us off.
He does make it away from the Lux just in time. Stern Pioneers are doing some nice map harassment over there on the left. Riflemen need to reinforce here. The AT gun is, oh, there's an AT gun produced. It is making its way up towards the center. Hopefully it'll be able to get a lucky shot off on the Lux. Hopefully with assistance from Riflemen getting an anti-tank rifle grenade off, they will be able to at least deter it, if not destroy it. Rifleman over here doing some counter harassment. He does have the munitions for 1 grenade. Don't think it's really necessary though. I think he could easily wipe the Stern Pioneer squad, which is way too late to retreat. Rear echelon troops with the BAR moving up to try and get the squad wipe. That Lux got a little bit close to those riflemen there, but he did not activate the anti-tank rifle grenade for whatever reason, unfortunately, so it does not have a damaged engine. He's being a little bit slow to rotate it around. Meanwhile, he continues to chase the Stern Pioneer squad, and he gets it just before they round the corner. Very nice. Very nice squad wipe right there. There's another squad over here, though, of Oversoldaten. Set up on the flank. And they could do some pretty significant damage to these wounded riflemen over here, but this squad is in pretty good shape, and combined, those 2 squads should be able to take on those overs. He's about to discover his opponent's Panzer headquarters, which is going to push him away from the center victory point. He may attempt to decap it first, though. Yep, there he goes. And it turns out his opponent has actually stolen the pack howitzer. Oh! He stole it and then shot his own guy with it. So it's apparently, I mean, as we all know, the pack howitzer is a cursed unit. It's haunted by the spirits of angry U.S. forces. So apparently it's inflicting its curse upon those damn Germans, those German bastards.
Capture point is under attack.
Ready for the okay, fire away. Shot out.
Little slow to reposition that AT gun. Oh, more friendly fire. Jeez, that AT gun just like nailed that other AT gun crew. These riflemen are kind of taking a bit of damage from those Obersoldaten. They're in open ground, so those Obers are going to be pretty effective. These riflemen are kind of just standing there. They need to move up to support. Meanwhile, there is some forces moving up to support here, and he didn't salvage the gun. He stole it. So hopefully Andy will be able to make good use of that. Although Aymes is moving up to retaliate here now. Nice flank on that machine gun. It's using armor-piercing rounds, but that may have been a mistake. Because it's certainly not going to stand any chance against those triple vet riflemen flanking. Meanwhile, the Obersoldaten over here on the left side were pushed away by this rifleman squad. They're heavily wounded after the engagement. They take up a position in this house, and they do have double BARs. Grenade is going out. I hope he notices. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Oh! Just inflicted 2 out of 4 model losses. Not actually as catastrophic as it could have been, although, okay. Second grenade probably would have wiped the squad. Fortunately, he retreats just in time. And Aymes now has access to the EZ-8. He almost has the resources for it. He's actually gated by his manpower, not his fuel. So we're probably going to be seeing one of those very soon. Captain tier straight into EZ-8. It's a pretty popular strategy apparently, since we saw that from Bird in my last cast. The cast before my last cast. And it certainly makes sense. Now that the BAR has been buffed this patch quite significantly, Captain tier can still hold its own against enemy infantry. And then the AT gun, Stuart, etc. and of course the captain's bazookas can help you deter your opponent's vehicles until your EZ-8s arrive. And we're definitely seeing that work for Aymes here. But again, he desperately needs to improve his map control situation. He's not going to be able to keep up with his opponent economically if he can't improve his fuel situation significantly. He needs to get control of more strategic points. As we can see, Andy has 175 fuel banked, which means he can afford a Panther now. And you definitely don't want your opponent to be getting a Panther at the same time as you get an EZ-8. You really want your EZ-8 to be hitting the field first. Or at least you want your second EZ-8 to be coming out well in advance of your opponent's second Panther. Oh, look at that. That was a nasty shot. And that's a second pack howitzer being produced by Aymes, which is almost 1,000 manpower spent on pack howitzers. And they are really not providing a very good return on investment for him so far, one of which he gave to his opponent, and the other has only 3 kills, which is not much. The Lux is hiding behind this building. The AT gun is set up, firing on the Speer Panzer headquarters, and it's actually inflicting really good damage. Ooh! White phosphorus being dropped on the blob forces it to retreat, but a high explosive barrage going off on the AT gun inflicts massive casualties. That gun's gonna get cleared before it can take out the Speer Panzer HQ. Nice use of the high explosive barrage. Very nice. And these flanking riflemen actually cleared out this AT gun. Very nice play there, but they're gonna have to retreat in the face of those Obersoldaten. And now this AT gun has been cleared. The Lux thought it had freedom to move up and engage, but unfortunately the EZ-8 is already on the field. Ooh, it's taking heavy damage. He's trying around the corner, but there's no way he's gonna escape. Or is there? EZ-8 is chasing. Yeah, he could have microed that a little bit better, I think. But the EZ-8 shot misses. Will the EZ-8 continue to chase? There it is. And the Lux does go down. Very nice. And it looks like it will also be able to take out this pack howitzer. The pack howitzer is bugged, I think, such that tanks firing on it will actually shoot the gun rather than the gun. Could be wrong about that, though. Maybe that was fixed. Or maybe that only happens when the American has the pack howitzer. Oh, no. Yeah, I think it still happens. It looks like those shots just missed. It probably has a small target size. But yeah, that's a bug. That is a bug. That should be fixed. Ooh, nice shot on those Volksgrenadiers there. Easy 8 is up to 9 kills. And it does have Vet 1, which is going to be a good start for it. Now that the Panther's on the field, this is going to be a real challenge for that Easy 8. Nothing like that puny looks, certainly. So he's going to need to get that repaired, and he's going to need to crew his AT guns and possibly field more bazookas to help supplement his anti-tank firepower. His blob of infantry has been reinforced and healed. He's making his way back up here towards the middle. The Schwer Panzer HQ is just about completely destroyed. Looks like he's going to be recrewing that AT gun to try and take it out once and for all. Meanwhile, he's got a lot of screening riflemen moving up to push away this charge by these infantry. Ooh. More friendly fire. Those Volksgrenadiers are just getting absolutely torn to shreds. They're going to be forced to retreat.
Command has been lost. Dispatching a mobile HQ vehicle.
Enemy infantry!
Infantry! Cut them down! Grenadiers back to full strength.
Grenade goes off there. Doesn't inflict particularly nasty casualties. That machine gun should probably get out of that building because it's just a hair from collapsing. Easy 8 shot bounces off of Panther, or AT gun shot rather. More shots bounce. These riflemen are pulling off a really dangerous flank for these infantry. They're right in their retreat path. The AT gun gets cleared. The Opers are taking huge damage. Nice shot from the pack howitzer. Almost puts the nail in the coffin. Oh no, and they just dropped an MG34. Those Volks need to recover that and retreat immediately. No, they dropped it again. Oh, jeez. Now the American needs to recover it. It looks like he's making a move for it, but I guess I'm not sure if he even sees it.
Under attack!
Hold the goddamn line!
Pick it up! Pick it up! There he goes.
Machine gun group are ready for action.
Okay, there he goes.
It's time for action.
Panther is circling around. Should be able to take on that Easy 8 as long as it can engage it outside the arc of fire of any allied AT guns. The American player has actually recovered his stolen anti-tank gun and destroyed his stolen pack howitzer, so he's actually doing quite well for managing his own the ramifications of his own mistakes earlier in the game. So that's good to see. But again, he needs to apply more map pressure. He's going to get outproduced. Nice use of the smoke grenade to protect him while he attempts to capture this point. Panther is going to move up. His rifleman will definitely be forced to retreat, and he certainly doesn't want to lose the rifleman squad with a stolen MG34, as it's an incredibly powerful weapon to have at your disposal. His opponent did lose his tier 4 building. He put it in, I think, a little bit too aggressive of a position, or it was not that difficult to take out with a nice aggressive AT gun push. So he's not going to be able to bring in Panthers anymore. So he's probably instead going to be falling back to either the King Tiger much later in the game, or maybe even going for a Jagd Panzer, although I wouldn't recommend that on this map. We do have a battle group headquarters going up, so it looks like he's taking towards King Tiger. He's still going to be quite a lot of fuel away from doing that, and very nice cutoff by the American player, applying some pressure to the Overpainted West territory, knocking Andy's fuel income down to just 7 until he can recover the fuel point here on the right. There are lots of defenses over here on the right side, though. There are S-mines just everywhere. It's going to be quite important for Aymes to make good use of either a minesweeper or his Easy 8 to run over all the S-mines and clear everything up.
Taking fire! Oh, incoming fire!
Command contact has been permanently established as a static post.
White Phosphorus Barrage stalls the Axis charge. Doesn't really inflict any damage. Looks like these riflemen are about to find the first S-mine field. I'm not sure if he's watching. Oh, jeez. If he clicks retreat on this squad, they might die. Hopefully he will manually walk out of the minefield and then retreat. I'm not sure he's even noticed that just happened. Oh, what is this AT gun doing? That was way too aggressive. AT guns are also bugged right now. They no longer provide green cover, so if they get caught by an enemy blob, they pretty much instantly get destroyed. This rifleman taking massive damage, need to retreat. There they go. Their echelon troops with their BAR also doing what they can. Oh, wow! Oh my god, that was a horribly devastating pack howitzer shot. That was just an auto fire shot too. How many kills did it just get from that? That's 13 kills from now. It didn't have anywhere near that before. Look at all the bodies. I think that was at least one full squad that just got wiped right there. Ouch. That was devastating.
Crew, taking fire! Prepare to fire!
Not good. Meanwhile, the Panthers also taking pretty heavy damage from stray AT gun shots, and Aymes is actually doing quite well economically now that his opponent's tier 4 is destroyed and he himself has finally branched out and taken more strategic points to sort of supplement his fuel income. He's definitely going to be able to outproduce his opponent if things keep up at this rate. He could have brought in a second Easy 8 a while ago. He's just hurting from manpower, mostly because he insists on continuing to purchase these pack howitzers, which are just crazy expensive. The pack howitzer actually costs 80 more manpower than an Easy 8, which is kind of ridiculous.
Gruppe under attack!
Supply half-track is ready for orders.
The American player is branching out, grabbing the munitions point over here. And an infantry support gun is actually going to be purchased here by Andy, who has actually not really been spending his manpower particularly efficiently. Before purchasing this, he had 1,000, so he definitely needs to crank out some more stuff. The fact that he doesn't have a tier 4 means that he can't make Obersoldaten. And he's certainly not in a position to make any MG34s either, because they'll just get rolled over by vetted riflemen with upgrades.
Support gun deployed. Crew ready for orders.
Honestly, he's in a pretty tough position. He's gonna have to do something pretty miraculous at this point. He's gonna probably also need to rely on his opponent making some crucial mistakes. Some new rear echelon troops are being called in. A new AT gun has been called in. Aymes playing actually quite conservatively. I was kind of expecting to see him start spamming Easy 8s, but instead he's building more team weapons, building more repair troops. Oh, and a minesweeper. Expanding his utility a little bit. Not going to do anything crazy aggressive and try to push his opponent's units as absolutely hard as he can, but instead set up a nice defense here in the center and just hold it. Oh, and considering his lead, I would say that's a relatively safe thing to do. I don't think I agree with Neo Andy's decision to purchase 2 infantry support guns. He's basically going to need a miracle to win with that build. Actually, he's going to need a lot more than one miracle. He's going to need several consecutive miracles to wipe all of these riflemen squads with 2 infantry support guns. But hey, it could happen. Maybe he saw what that pack howitzer did to his whole army in one shot and decided that maybe he could maybe he could get the same thing to happen for him. Mines are getting swept up over here on the right side by this minesweeper. The Rear echelon troops carrying it are probably going to be moving through the right side to grab the victory point soon. It's important to start putting pressure on that victory point to get the clock to run out as quickly and as soon as possible. You really want to put the nail in the coffin in these situations rather than let things drag out unnecessarily, because it gives your opponent more time to stage an amazing comeback. Company of Heroes 2 is probably one of the only strategy games I can even think of where a comeback from a situation like this is even remotely possible. And it is. We've all seen it happen. Unfortunately, it's the exception rather than the rule. Riflemen hiding behind this building to protect themselves from indirect fire.
Heavy machine gun team ready for battle. Say again. Rounds complete.
Mines continuing to be swept up over here, and mines can actually make for a good defensive position in the sense that as your opponent is trying to sweep them up with a really fragile minesweeper squad, you can kind of punish him for it. But unfortunately his looks is dead, and his Panther isn't being particularly aggressive. He really needs to be making better use of this Panther. He's being so timid with it. Of course, he doesn't want to drive into the arc fire of any of those AT guns. But if he doesn't start vetting it up, it's not going to be able to do much work for him. And in fact, he's kind of lucky, I think, that he's not being overwhelmed by a massive swarm of Easy 8s. Aymes instead going for a much more conservative build. But he could have spammed so many of these by now if he had wanted to. He would be on his third one right now if he had built towards that instead. Map harassment happening here by these riflemen. The infantry support guns continue to just sort of bombard. The AT gun has been reinforced, and it's actually like a hair from being destroyed. It really needs to get repaired. The next thing that even looks at it is going to destroy it. It's not going to be very effective because even the tiniest little AoE burst from anything, really. Volksgrenadier squad makes it away by a hair. Panther and AT gun moving up over here on the right side, being so slow and defensive on his pushes because he doesn't have anything to push with. Because he spent all of his manpower on 2 infantry support guns. He has brought in a fresh Volksgrenadier squad, but it's just... ooh. It's just powerless against everything. Unvetted fresh Volk squad certainly can't take on everything here in the middle. Pack howitzer did get deproved though. Infantry support guns are also continuing to fire. Victory points continue to tick down. Of course, it's just a matter of time before the King Tiger arrives. Neo Andy has held on to his fuel occasionally rather well. He does have 220. He needs 260. It's gonna be several minutes. Before he can call that in, but he's probably gonna get it, even at +8. He's probably gonna get it. It would be better if he could take control of this fuel point, and those Oversoldaten are going to do just that. Oh, retreat! Retreat! What are you doing? If he had stopped those Oversoldaten and just focused fire to those rear echelon troops, there's no way they would have survived that. Aymes got a lucky break there. So Neo Andy is going to get control of that right side fuel again. There is an MG34 rifleman squad moving up over there. This is MG34 fight. But Volksgrenadiers are moving up to support. Meanwhile, here in the middle, infantry support gun actually emptied that fighting position, I think. Or, no, I'm wrong about that. Never mind. They retreated. Not really hitting anything though. White phosphorus getting dropped on this blob of stuff over here, delaying him from capturing the fuel. Nice move. Only 30 fuel left before he can bring in the King Tiger though. And it looks like Andy quite desperately needs it. There's pretty much nothing he can do without it. In fact, he's lucky he's lasted this long. A lot of Aymes squads are just sitting idle here in the middle rather than continuing to push really aggressively on his opponent's base, trying to take out overextended squads when he gets the opportunity. Instead, just kind of idly sending 1 or 2 units over here to harass the right side and dedicating the rest of his forces to defending in the middle. Really needs to retreat that squad.
Target secured!
Oh man. Barely around the corner. He is extremely lucky that that survived. And he definitely doesn't want to be making any mistakes at this point where he lets triple vet rifle squads just die for no reason. Not before that King Tiger arrives. He's gonna need all the firepower he can muster to beat it back. He does have 2 AT guns. 2 AT guns and 1 Easy 8 is probably enough to take on a King Tiger depending on how the King Tiger is used, but it's not enough to take on a King Tiger and a Panther. Unless they're used, like, terribly. Fortunately, Aymes has a massive amount of fuel stockpiled, and he will be able to take advantage of that. To bring in more Easy 8s to supplement any losses that a King Tiger might inflict on him, and lots of Easy 8s is definitely an effective counter to a King Tiger. Fighting position is pretty exposed, doesn't have anything inside, no units around to defend. Aymes is mobilizing a pretty big push for the right side. He's going to be grabbing the victory point.
Heavy machine gun group are ready for action.
Continuing to harass infantry over here. Panther taking a few hits. Those Oversoldaten take quite a bit of damage from pack howitzer shots though. And they're forced to make a hasty retreat. They are Vet 2 now, so they're going to be a pretty important asset, especially because he can't make any more of them. It's critical that he does not lose that squad. Rifleman firing on the stolen AT gun. That has to pull back. LMG-34 riflemen on the flank are dealing massive damage to those Folks Grenadiers with their MG-34. It's important that he doesn't underestimate those LMG-34 riflemen. Oh, don't get in the house! You need to retreat now! It's a Vet 4 squad, don't lose it! Oh, that was not a loss you could afford to sustain. That was disappointing. The AT gun has been completely destroyed. And I'm not even sure that machine gun is going to survive. MG-34 just does so much damage. What was that? Was that a grenade? There goes the machine gun to White Phosphorus and the MG-34 rifleman. Panther can't even fire on the rifleman because it's in the smoke. AT grenade bounces off the Panther's frontal armor, and it looks like Aymes is going to push with his Easy 8 and AT gun against it. Those minesweepers are going to be forced to retreat, slowing the victory points down again. Overcommando West player does have 147 remaining. The Panther is pulling back for repairs. So overall, that went quite poorly for the Overcommando player. But his King Tiger's on the way. He did buy himself enough time and map control to survive until his King Tiger arrives. And it's really going to come down to whether or not he can utilize it effectively. And even if he does use it extremely effectively, it will be challenging because he's going to have to fight off what looks like about 4 Easy 8s in addition to the one that's already on the field throughout its lifetime, if the Overcommando player is going to have any chance of winning this game. King Tiger on the field, upgrading with the machine gun now. It's going to make its way towards what looks like the right side. Apparently the infantry support gun managed to clear out the pack howitzer. Panther moving up to counter harass with Over support and Folks Grenadier support. Riflemen a little slow to retreat. I'm not sure they're going to get away. Those Oversoldaten are going to be able to fire on them in their retreat path. There they go, and they handed a BAR over. And that's before he's even spotted the King Tiger. He cannot afford to be losing full squads now. Not with what's coming. not pushing with it just yet. Wants to get some territory under control first, which is quite important. He's only got 78 points remaining.
75 points remaining. Tactical adjustments need to be made.
Target captured. No enemy contact. Flying cover!
And the King Tiger reveals itself, pushing up with Panther support. There's also a Kettenwerfer to supplement its damage against his fighting position. Immediately gets taken down. The Panther parking itself right in front of that AT gun, though, which activates AP rounds, but it pulls back around the corner. Meanwhile, the King Tiger moving up to take shots on what looks like these infantry. No, it's going straight for the AT gun. The AP rounds are piercing the Panther's frontal armor. Needs to be careful about that. King Tiger bursts through, but it does expose its rear armor to those riflemen, so it may sustain engine damage, which is dangerous. The AT gun does get completely destroyed, but the victory points continue to tick. There it is. There's the engine damage on the King Tiger, and unfortunately he doesn't have any Sturm Pioneers to repair, so he probably should have thought twice before exposing his rear armor to those riflemen when he doesn't have any Sturm Pioneers. He's now basically going to be forced to park his King Tiger here in the center, which is going to render it rather vulnerable. There is an AT gun firing on it from the left side. Meanwhile, infantry have pushed up and cleared through a Kettenwerfer, and he's not doing a very good job of keeping the King Tiger firing either. It keeps on rotating its turret, kind of floundering a little bit. Meanwhile, a harassment attempt happening over here on the right side. Victory point threatens to seal the game. And that King Tiger has been forced off the field just way too early. He just couldn't afford for that engine damage to happen. And the Panther isn't really able to contribute either. Back here for repairs. King Tiger firing on an overextended AT gun though. And there it goes. Easy 8. Yep, just as suspected. There's the second Easy 8. The train of Easy 8s is only just beginning. But of course the victory points are going to be running out quite soon if he doesn't get them under control now. The American players making that as difficult as possible. As reversing back towards his opponent probably isn't the greatest idea either. The Panther trying to get through, but there's a bit of a traffic jam situation. Oh man, those LMG riflemen just shredded those Volksgrenadiers. No chance. Smoke grenade going out over here to protect those Obersoldaten while they attempt to get this victory point under control. A harassment attempt for the left is basically his only hope. Oh wow, the King Tiger just wiped an ambulance. Riflemen also getting churned up by this meat grinder. Packouts are getting churned up, but only 5 points remain. There is a harassment. Oh no, there isn't a harassment attempt happening there. Those riflemen were forced to retreat by something. I'm not sure what. A machine gun? No, it doesn't even have any kills. I don't know how they took damage or were forced to retreat, but they were. The machine gun will be able to maybe stop the clock. It's gonna... no, he can't. Definitely not, especially not with these riflemen here. And that's going to conclude the game. GG being exchanged. Well played by both players for sure. The King Tiger was just a little too late and used not quite effectively enough, unfortunately. Especially the lack of Sturm Pioneer squad greatly contributed to his inability to crush everything the American had left. Although if we take a look, his rear echelons are all gone. He had 1 AT gun, 2 Vac-Howitzers, and 2 riflemen remaining, which is not much. King Tiger definitely had a dramatic impact, but it just wasn't enough. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the game. I certainly did. And if so, you can always send me a replay of your own. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter who you are. I will cast anything. So, if that interests you, be sure to send me something. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.